Hey everyone and welcome to the channel. Today we're working on something that's not really a recipe, but more of a test. Today's video started with my inability to be organised enough in life to plan a day ahead on a really crispy pork belly. So what I'm planning to try today is a few methods for cooking really crunchy pork belly from start to finish in a day. Normally you'd leave it uncovered in the fridge overnight to dry out for that really crispy skin, but I always seem to forget, or space in the fridge to leave a large piece of pork to dry always seems to be complicated. So let's see what we can achieve while skipping that step. Stick around to see how we go. So we're going to start off with two pieces of pork belly. Granted, one is a little thinner than the other, but we're really focusing on here is the skin, so I'm sure this will be okay for this comparison. For both of these pieces, I'm going to kick it off by scoring the skin on both. I'm not sure if this is completely necessary, but I think it's going to give us our best shot at getting the skin as crispy as possible by allowing as much of the fat under the skin to render out and remove as much of the excess water as possible. For the record, I've never tried any of these methods before, so I'm kind of flying blind and guessing a lot, but I'm sure we can make something pretty cool. So for the first method, we're going to try and cook out that skin a little before we get going. I'm going to bring a small amount of water to a simmer in a pan. We aren't looking to poach this whole piece, so I just have enough in here to cook the skin. It will cook a small amount of the flesh, but I'm sure it won't matter. It's also going to help get that layer of fat under the skin to start rendering down. Again, I'm not sure exactly how important this is, but that's why we're testing. I let this one simmer for about 20 minutes, basically just watching it until the skin looked cooked through. With that one cooked, I'm going to pop it to the side to let it come down to room temperature and let all the excess water evaporate off. While the first one's hanging out, we'll get to work on the second piece. This one's a little simpler. I'm simply going to pop a cooling rack over a deep baking tray and then pour boiling water over. I'm simply going to fill my kettle to the brim, bring to a boil, and immediately pour it over the pork nice and slowly. Now we can see this hasn't done a lot to cook the pork skin, but it has had a little effect. You can see that there is some slight difference in colour around the score lines, and there's a small amount of curling. I'll give this one a good seasoning and place it aside with the other piece to cool. To add another layer to this test, I'm also going to add some garlic and herb flavour to see if it makes a difference in adding to the flavour of the overall product. So I'll make a simple paste of garlic and rosemary by finely chopping them together, with a hefty pinch of salt. I'll simply keep chopping until it resembles a coarse rub and set it aside while we get our pork ready for the oven. Here we have our pork belly, and you can see that both pieces the excess water is evaporated and they're firmed up. The piece using the water from the kettle has done a lot more than I thought. The skin is definitely tacky and is notably paler in colour. The simmered piece is much firmer, the skin looks drier and it looks more irregular, like we'll have some little gnarly crispy bits. I'm going to cut both in half and apply the garlic and rosemary paste to one piece from both starting pieces. For the piece with the paste, I'm going to pop them into some little foil boats, just to hold the paste on and hopefully stop them from burning, and then pop the whole tray into the oven on a cake rack. The oven is set to 160 degrees Celsius or 320 Fahrenheit, and we're going to cook these until they're nicely roasted. And after about 3 hours, this is what we have. The pork is all nicely cooked through and the skin on all 4 pieces is hard. Not crispy, but nicely cooked through. I probably could have gone a little longer to render a little more fat, but hey, I'm hungry now and I didn't think that would change the outcome that much. So now it's time to bring the puff. For the first crisping method, I'm going to pop some neutral oil into a frying pan and pop the pork in. Now I'm going to do this from cold to bring the temperature up slowly. My thought process here is that if I bring it up slowly, chances are this should pop and splash less, hopefully. In this pan I have the rosemary and garlic portion from the simmered piece and the plain piece from the hot water pour over. As mentioned, I've never actually tried this before, but it's pretty cool. The skin is puffing quite quickly. I can see the crunchy blistered effect happening around the sides, and it's happening really fast. This only took about 10 minutes, and you can see the effects here. They both look pretty crunchy and puffed up. I would say that's a win at least. And now for the one I've seen many times online, but very curious to see what actually happens. I'll pop the simmered piece on a cake rack and bring a pot of oil up to smoking hot on the stove, then ladle over some of the hot oil and see what happens. Please excuse my oil here. I should have strained it before doing this video, but it definitely slipped my mind, so the black bits are definitely optional, not essential. This is not happening like I see online, but it is getting crisp and still looks okay, but it took several ladles of oil, followed by pouring oil from the pot until they stopped getting any crispier. I'm sure there's something I haven't done to make this work perfectly. If you know how to do this properly, I'd love to hear about it in the comments down below. So here we have all our variations. First, the pork that's been simmered in water with the garlic and rosemary rub finished in the pan. Second, the pork that had the hot water pour over, no rub, and finished in the pan. Third, the pork that was simmered, no rub, with the hot oil pour over. And lastly, the hot water pour over with rosemary garlic and the hot oil pour over. The first one is really crisp and has a clean bite through skin. I'm not getting a lot of flavour from the rub, but it's tender, crispy, and has a nice pork flavour. The second has a notably different crunch. It's very similar to normal pork crackling from the oven that we all know and love. The third has a different texture again. The skin is chewier, not offensively, but you can definitely tell that the skin isn't as heavily cooked. And the last one, this is cool. It has a really heavy crunch, with a nice chew afterwards. It's not a texture in pork skin that I'm used to. It's very similar to number 2 in overall crispiness. Now let's see what they're like. A few notes before choosing the winner. The 2 pieces cooked in the pan are notably oilier. This is to be expected as they are almost deep fried, but I know a lot of people out there are quite sensitive to oily things, and this might not be for them. And the garlic and rosemary rub added very little flavour to any of the samples. It does give a little something, but not a huge amount. But for the winner, number 2. The texture of the skin is really good. It's the most puff from all the pieces here, even though it's a little oily. A close second is number 4, but I prefer the skin texture that's a little more heavily cooked of number 2. So there we have it. If you're looking to try and knock out a crispy pork belly in a day, I'd recommend the boiling water followed by crisping in the pan, but I would also add that little garlic and rosemary rub. But to be honest, all of these tasted pretty good. I'd pretty happily sit and eat any of them. What's your favourite method for crispy pork? Please let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching the video, everyone. If you enjoyed it, please consider giving the video a like and subscribing to the channel. Thanks everyone, see you on the next one.